Good evening. My name is Amy Steinberg. I'm so honored and blessed to be here with you. I recently moved here from Charlotte, North Carolina to be the music director over at Universal Spirit Center. I've been hearing about your center forever. This first song I'm going to do for you is called Free to Turn It Around. And it is when I first started going to classes here and learning about this philosophy, I learned that life is not, in fact, happening to me. It is happening through me, as me, and for me. I've been in bondage. I've been held back. I've been imprisoned by thoughts of fear and lack. And I have had anger, oh yeah. And I've had guilt, you know it. These are the bricks on which my life's been built. But I'm free to turn it around. Know what I'm talking about? Yes, I'm free to turn it around. We are all free to turn it around. Free to look up instead of looking down. I get so tired looking down. It's exhausting being a depressed mess. But see, I've been attracted, it's true, to negative thought. And I get so distracted, shiny thing, shiny thing. I get so distraught. But see, I know that I responsible, only me, for my own life. Oh no, I can't blame you anymore. How can I lift my chin up, look to the light? Whoa, yes, I'm free to turn it around. Can I hear a hallelujah? Yes, I'm free to turn it around. How about an amen? We are all free to turn it around. No more looking down. 'Cause see, I've been in bondage. I've been held back. I've been imprisoned by thoughts, imprisoned by my own thoughts of fear and lack. And I have had anger, I've been so mad. And I've had guilt. But these are no longer the bricks. No. These are no longer the bricks. I got love, I got joy. These are no longer the bricks on which my life is built. 'Cause I've turned it around. Thank you.
Wow, Amy. Holy cow. So good evening and welcome, everyone. I'm Reverend Bill Salisbury, standing in tonight for Reverend Lori McMacken, who's off on a well-deserved vacation. So I'd just like to welcome you here to our spiritual Wednesday night gathering, the Going Within gathering, knowing that we come here for that little spiritual shot in the arm on a Wednesday night, midweek, just in case we're sagging a little bit. So I'm going to invite you at this time, because this is a candle lighting ceremony, I'm going to invite you to come up, light a candle, put your intention behind the lighting of the candle, bring anybody and everybody you wish into this service, light the candle for them, light the candle for yourself, light the candle for the divine in all of us. So at this time, I just invite you to come forward if you haven't already, or if you have and you want to light another one.
Lead me, love. Lead me on. When I'm weary, make me strong. Lead me, love. Help me grow. Lead me, love. Lead me home. Lead me, love. Lead me on. When I'm weary, make me strong. Lead me, love. Help me grow. Lead me, love. Lead me home. Lead me home. Lead me, love. Lead me on. When I'm weary, make me strong. Lead me, love. Watch me grow. Lead me, love. I am home. I am home.
Oh, thank you again. She's soulful, she rocks, and she can take us to that deep within place with that kind of music. Thank you so much. And just so you know, as we go in, this is a meditation service, and this is that part of our service that is for meditation. And as we go into this, please remember that we have our seaside practitioners, Rebecca and Trudy Safety, holding the light in the back there. So if anything comes up for you during this meditative period, just kind of keep a little bit of a wrap on it. And afterward, if you'd like some prayer around that, you can grab any of us, and we'll be happy to see to that prayer for you. So right now, let's just go within and find that magical spot of divinity that is within each of us all the time.
And now if you would please join me in prayer. It's from a deep knowing that there is one source of good in the universe, and that source is God. Timeless, changeless, and ever-present, the all in all. The voice of truth speaks through me, as I affirm my oneness with infinite intelligence. There is one life. That life is God's life. That life is my life now. And as we gather together in this sacred place, in this beautiful candlelight, we know it is a time of remembrance of our divine connection for upliftment and richer lives, and for blessings to flow to us and from us. It is to be reminded of who and what we are, to reinstate our confidence, to know that the lives we live are answered prayers, to confirm our faith, to join together in blessed sacred teachings. It is with deep gratitude that we gather to hear the words and the message of Reverend Bill tonight, knowing that each person here will hear the words that will move them forward to the next step on their path. And it is with deep gratitude that we join together and say, and so it is. Amen. Good evening. I'm Rebecca Venkatraman, and I am your practitioner for the evening. And holding the light, we have Trudy Selfkey. And you know we love to pray. So if there's anything on your heart, please don't hesitate to join us right outside the doors here after service, and let us share some time together. Tonight, we're going to be talking about answered prayers, beliefs, and confidence. So when those words came to me, I, of course, went to Ernest Holmes, this thing called you. It's wonderful to know that your good is at hand. Your dawn is breaking. There is a living spirit at the center of your being. The original author of all life is in and around you. Not a God who was, but a God who is. This is the great secret which you share with life. Life is wherever you are. It revolves around you, even as it flows through you. Keep the doorway of your mind open, feeling, thinking, and communicating with this life. Know that it fills you with light and with power. Belief can make you whole. There is a power which flows through your words of faith. You need not go through any practice to unify with this power, for you already are one with it. It is already where you are. Because you are always in contact with it, you can bring into your life the good you so greatly desire, for it will honor your desires. And now I'd like to read some lines from one of Ernest's prayer treatments. I place my affairs in the hands of goodness, love, and wisdom. I place them there with supreme confidence. I have childlike faith and trust in good. I know there is nothing between me and that which is best. I am filled with enthusiastic hope. I look forward to entering into the fullness of life. And now I'd like to introduce our guest speaker for this evening, Reverend Bill Salisbury.
Thank you, Rebecca. Here for Rebecca one more time for Amy. Wasn't that beautiful music? So, once again, I'm Reverend Bill S-O-M-E, science of mind evangelist. Do I have your attention with that? Now, I'm not talking about proselytizing, mind you. I'm a science of mind evangelist, and I think everybody else should be, because I think once we discover the root of this teaching, once we discover the depth of this philosophy, that there is one power and presence, and that power and presence is not only greater than we are, but we can use it for our own good. When we discover we can direct the power and energy that is the divine, that is God, that is Spirit, and we can use it in order to create the world in which we live, I think that's pretty powerful news. And evangelizing just means spreading the good news, right? Spreading the gospel. And if that's not good news, that we can direct our own lives and we have the power of the divine at our beck and call, I don't know what is good news. So again, I don't want you to proselytize. I mean, I'm going to recommend against cornering some poor soul back in the vegetable section at Safeway, because you might end up with like a cauliflower up against your ear. But I do think, they said of St. Francis of Assisi, who so believed in the Jesus thing, Jesus the master teacher, getting down into the trenches and living amongst the people who needed help, that's what he did. He left his rich family behind, and he went out into the streets, and he went out and associated and tended to and directed those people that we would maybe sometimes have a tendency to call marginalized, less than, on the outskirts. But that's what he did. And somebody said of his teaching that we should be like him, because the bumper sticker version of the Franciscan order of teaching is to be always speaking the good word of the divine, even if you have to use words. Because generally, we're so high profile in our own little individual portions of the world, people are looking at us all the time, and the way we act, the way we behave, the way we respond to is the way that we spread this teaching about the goodness of life and the power inherent in each one of us, the divine power that runs through our very bodies. Well, that's a long way from the talk title, isn't it? So the title of this talk, this is from a very short series of talks about vision and values, because I think we should all have a vision. And in fact, I think we do all have a vision, even those who don't state it. And I know in this culture of materialism and capitalism and consumerism in which we live, sometimes you get a little bit frowned upon if you don't use in big, bold, large font, page and a half of paper that you tape onto your refrigerator, something about your vision, that you're not serious about having it. Well, I don't believe that for a second. I think we all have a vision, whether we openly share that with other people or whether we keep it to ourselves and quietly follow it. And I think that's either way is a good avenue to go. But the values that I'm going to talk about tonight are the values of belief and confidence. Spiritual values, to be sure. Spiritual practices, to be sure. And like so many other spiritual practices and qualities of God, these two are inextricably bound up with each other, I think you'll agree. Because when we have a right belief, that belief leads us into confidence as it unfolds in our lives, and the more confident we get about the unfolding of our life in the order that we are happy to see it unfold in, the more it verifies that our belief was right in the first place. And I say right belief because sadly, but clearly, we can have wrong beliefs. And where do they come from? We have wrong beliefs instilled in us by the world culture. I mean, from the time we're like, I don't know, 2 or 3 days old probably is when it begins. But we are constantly being conditioned by the world. And when I hear the phrase lacking self-confidence or a lack of belief in oneself, that's not what I hear anymore. What I hear is somebody saying confidence in lack, because we've been so ingrained with it that we're never going to be such and such, we're never going to do such and such, we're never going to get to see such and such. You know, you can't be like such and such. That it's not that we have a lack of confidence, it's just that we've got the confidence is in the lack and the limitation. And as long as that's true, as long as that holds sway, then we're never able really to reach that ultimate, that unlimited potential that we come to this planet with. Do you get that? So it's not that we don't have confidence in ourselves, it's that we have confidence that we're not able or qualified to be something. And I think that's hogwash, actually, because I know that each of us here is a divine expression. Each of us is God expressing as us in that unique way that only you and I can do. There's never been another me, there's never been another you. There never ever will be. There's no other possibility of the same background, the same thoughts, the same experiences duplicating in another person. So with that in mind, why should we settle for that? Let's take that rightful divine order that is ours and have a belief in it rather than a belief in its opposite. Anybody here ride a motorcycle? I guess, I wouldn't ask that if I didn't. I'm looking for some camaraderie here. But if you ever have, here's one thing that you discover. It's very easy for a 900-pound motorcycle and a 150 or 200-pound person on top of that to be riding down the road totally and completely unseen by us. And if you've been a driver around the streets where people ride motorcycles, you found at some point or another, probably in a state of utter panic, that, oh my God, where'd he come from? All at once, here's this big giant thing in front of you, and you just plain didn't see it. Well, we've done studies on this, and we've analyzed it, because that's what we do as humans. We study and we analyze, and we fact collect and we catalog it, and we would really dig into the minuscule goings and comings of things like this. But there's never ever, psychologists and studies, they come up with sort of some reasons why this can be the case, but none of them are conclusive. Because really, at the end of the day, all we know is there can be huge things in front of us that we just plain don't see. You ever showed up at somebody's place and they say, and you hadn't been there for a while? You just drove, a couple of 100 miles to get there, and they say, so, how'd you like that new wing they put on the hospital? And you go, man, I never saw a new wing. We drove right past it. Yeah, I know, but that's not what my focus was. I didn't see it. So we don't see the motorcycle. We don't see the new wing on the hospital. And it brings to mind that saying, you don't see the forest for the trees. And it's not quite the same, but it is in that we don't see some very large things because we're not looking for them and we're not looking at them. In fact, we're looking at something else. And if that can happen with things, imagine, if you will, that it can happen with intangibles, with abstracts, with things like philosophies, things like teachings, things like concepts and processes. Sometimes we just don't see those because we're so used to being in our conditioned way that that's what we see. And I'd like to suggest that although we generally speak of the divine, and when I say the divine, I'm speaking about the God of your understanding, the divine of your understanding. It doesn't matter to me whether it's God, Spirit, Yahweh, Allah. It just doesn't make any difference. Whatever that beingness is that we're speaking of, we often think about it as a thing. This thing called God. Well, I'd like to suggest that it's not a thing. It's all things. It's being. It's beingness. And I think it's not just something that is. It's something that evolves. It's a process. I think we should be able to think about the divine as not only all of everything, the totality of all things that ever were, ever will be, or are now, and think about it also at the same time as a process. We can see our place in it maybe a little bit differently. And we can see that what's important is for us to find the belief in this process that makes us who we are, makes our world what it is. So, with that in mind, I think about it like this. We are constantly ever evolving, ever expanding, ever more aware, and we are on this constant journey back to that God, whatever that God is of your understanding, and it's a process. And I think that part of that is understanding that every experience, every situation, every circumstance, every event, everything we have ever undergone is part of that expansion for us. Everything that's ever happened in our lives makes up who we are right this moment. We would not be who we are without those things having happened. And that said, as soon as they happen, we have to allow them to become obsolete. Sometimes it's a little difficult to get your head around that at first. They become obsolete because of them, we have had some sort of, even the slightest amount of personal transformation, making us a little bit different being than we were just a moment ago when that event happened. And that doesn't devalue it. That doesn't mean it was valueless. Doesn't mean it was of less value. It just means that it's no longer current. You know, we always talk about the now moment right here. It's the only moment we have dominion over. Well, whatever just took place, that's not the now moment anymore. We have to let it go. Now, if what just took place was positive, life-affirming, made you jump for joy, filled you with radiant beauty and hope, that's great. We take those feelings from those happenings and we travel forth with them, but we leave the event behind. Now, if that event was not quite so positive, if it was in fact maybe even a little bit negative, we don't take those feelings, but we take the lesson. Because everything that's ever happened to us, good and bad, is grist for the spiritual mill for us. So if we have something that we don't really like, fine, leave the feelings behind. But take the lesson. And it's taking those positive thoughts from the enjoyable experiences and allowing that same pattern of positive thought to pull forth from the not so happy occurrence the lesson involved. You know what they say with the little boy digging through? He says, got to be a pony in here somewhere. It doesn't matter that it was not a happy experience. We're not taking those feelings with us. We're only taking a lesson with us. So in that regard, we've left behind that, and what we come out with is a belief in this thing called God, a belief in this thing called life, a belief that we have the power by way of our own thoughts to choose those thoughts that are going forward with us and to choose our response and our usage of those lessons that we learned along the way from those things we don't want to actually carry with us. So once we have that belief, and it doesn't matter again what the experience was, good, bad, or indifferent. Hey, there's a story about experience, about a young reporter who was sent to interview a hugely successful businessman. And he says, well, tell me, what's the secret of your success? He says, well, young man, that's easy. It's right decisions. Oh, yeah, okay, I get that. How do you make right decisions? Experience. Oh, yeah, I get that too, he says. How do you get experience? The guy says, wrong decisions. So it doesn't matter about whether the decision's right or wrong. It doesn't matter whether it was a happy or an unhappy occurrence. All that matters is we go forth with that same broad spectrum relief for our life that our positive thoughts and constructive viewing and criticisms bring us. And when we do that, when we find that belief in that nothing happens just to us, everything happens for us, that belief leads us into, voila, confidence. And it's this confidence that allows us to carry forward and do those things that we're put here to do. It's that confidence that allows us to pursue our purpose, even if we have to first search for our purpose. It's the confidence, because of that right belief, that allows us to do that. Can you just imagine if instead of ever having somebody tell you that you couldn't be this, you couldn't do that, you shouldn't think about this, who do you think you are, blah, blah, blah. What if from the day one, everybody told us, well, you the best, you the bomb, you can do anything you want to do. And I know lots of us do that now. But did that happen right from the get-go, right from the gate with every child? No, but if it did, think of what a different world it would be. And we can change that world. We can change it by having the confidence and that belief to go forth and do what we know needs to be done in order to make this world the vision of what we want it to be. And confidence. Is there anything you cannot do if you have confidence? Not confidence in lack, confidence that you can, but if you've got that self-consciousness, confidence that you can do anything you want to do, who's been told that? Because there are some people who tell all of us that. It's not everybody who tells all of us that, but some people do. And when you take that to heart, you really see the difference. There's a little story about confidence, because there was another businessman, and he wasn't as successful as the first, unfortunately. In fact, he had been watching his business devolving, going down the drain, so to speak, for the last couple of years, and he didn't know what to do about it. And of course, if you've ever been in business, what you do when things aren't going well is you tighten the belt, and that means that you're not spending money to bring more money in, you're not advertising, you're not attracting people. And he's just to the point where he's been going down so low for so long, he just is beside himself and he doesn't know what to do. Well, it happens that he lived in New York and his business was in New York, and this was, I love this. This was last century. Go figure, 19-something, that was last century. So in the last century, but now he goes to Central Park, and he's sitting on this bench, and he's got his... Who fired that shot? Okay, I know when I'm done. Sorry. And he's got his hand in his lap, in his chin in his hand, And he's just sitting there figuring out what to do or if there is anything to be done. And don't you know, this elderly gentleman comes walking up the walk and he says, "Wow, you look glum. What's up?" And he tells him his story. And the old guy reaches into his pocket and he whips out a checkbook. He says, "You know what? I'm glad I happened along because I can help you. I'm going to write you a check, and I want you just to use this to bring your business back up. And I want you to get it better than it was, and then we'll meet back at this bench a year from now, and you can tell me your story." So he says, "Okay," and he takes the check, and he's walking away, and he says, he looks at it, it's for $500,000. This was a lot of money. And it's signed John Rockefeller. And he says, "Holy cow, did I come to the right place at the right time?" And he hurries back to his office, and he takes that check, and he's about to make out a deposit slip, and he says, "Nah, you know what? I'm just going to put this in the safe. Now that I have it, I know it's there. I can get it out whenever I need it. I might have a couple of items left that I can do here." And he puts it in the safe. And well, then he starts going, and he starts working, and he starts building, and pretty soon he's back in business, and he's even. And a little while later, a few months go by, and he's making money. Well, come the end of the year, he's making it hand over fist. He's really successful. And he says, "Won't Mr. Rockefeller be surprised? Because I'm not only going to give him his money back, I'm giving him back the original check." So he goes back to Central Park, and he sits at that same bench, and he's not there but a couple of minutes, and up he comes. And he's just reaching in his pocket, the businessman is, to hand the check back to him, and up the walk comes running this gal in a nurse's uniform. And she grabs the old guy by the arm, and she says, "You get back in here and stop bothering people." She says, "Sir, I'm so sorry. He keeps getting away from the home and telling people he's John Rockefeller. I hope he hasn't done anything to bother you." Well, this guy's stunned, and he stands there, and he thinks, you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that that wasn't the real John Rockefeller. It doesn't matter that the check wasn't real. It doesn't matter that the money wasn't real. Because what he did was he gave me that confidence to make it real, and I took that and became who I have always been all along, but I just lost sight of the fact of who I was. And you know what? That worked well. And that did work well. And that is what we have belief in. When we have belief that the world works for us, you want a conspiracy theory? The universe always conspires for your good. Those who like conspiracy theories, take that. Okay? So when we have the belief that everything works for us, nothing happens to us that's not for us, and that gives us the confidence to go ahead, that is the truth. And it's that truth that I would love for you just to get in touch with and to know. And my charge to you is to go forth from here knowing that the truth of the God within you is absolute, it's infinite, and it's eternal. It can never go away. It can never be taken from us. We can refuse at times to recognize it and to use it, but the fact of the matter is it's always still there. That's the truth of life. That will give us the belief that we can do anything we set our minds to. And once we have that belief, we have the confidence to go with it, and we can make our world, your world, my world, individually exactly what we want them to be, and we can make this whole world a world that works for everyone. Thanks for listening.
I believe. That was great. Thank you so much. There's a power in a seed, reminding itself how to become a tree. There's a power in a cell, and it's capable of making a you or a me. There's a power in a word, vibrating at a frequency, and there's a power inside that power in inside that power is love, 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 love. That's your part. Goes love, 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 love. Let me hear you try it. Nice. And you can feel it revealed when an open, broken heart begins to be healed. It breaks like the sky when a long, dark night starts spinning on the wheel of the world. Watch it rise out of the ashes, comes another day of bright light shining through your eyes. So much surprise every time we fall in love, 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 love. Join me singing love, 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 love. It doesn't matter if he's John D. Rockefeller. It doesn't matter, just giving you the confidence to be the fella that you can be. You and me, we are perfectly aligned with the divine, to know that we are energy eternally. Oh, we can have all that we want to be. All that we are is divine. All that we are is pure love energy, pure love energy, pure love energy. Bad decisions, good decisions, nothing matters. It's all good, cause it's all learning, and it's all taking into the future from the now. Oh, this is how we use this power, this power. This, yeah, a little beatbox for you on a Wednesday night. There's a force in the fist. When unclenched, it ceases to exist. It shifts into light. So much freedom releases from the wrist. So insist on bliss, 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 insist on bliss. And love, 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 love. Now you know it, come on. Love, 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 love. One more time. There's a power in a seed, reminding itself how to become a tree. There's a power in a cell, and it's capable of making a you or a me. There's a power in a word, vibrating at a frequency. And there's a power inside that power, and back of all that power is love.
Whoa.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ooh. Amy Steinberg, ladies and gentlemen. Don't you just wish you could take her home?
You can.
Ah, but wait, you can. Well, not the official version, but you can get a reasonable facsimile after the service, because I think you're going to have CDs available out there. Yes.
Yes.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you're the new music director at Universal Spirit Center.
Yeah, I just moved here all the way across the country to be with all of you in San Diego.
From where? Where'd you come from?
Charlotte, North Carolina. I know. Yeah, it's a big move.
Charlotte's been good to us. So yeah, Reverend Kevin Busey's new main music person.
Yeah.
Good for you. So right now, it's that time of our service where we talk about our opportunity to give back, because as we know, what goes around comes around. And when we have an opportunity to do something from our heart, and at this time I would like to offer to you an opportunity to take whatever offering, whatever tithe, whatever gift you have for this center at this time, hold it close to your heart and know that it is from the heart that the value comes. This is God energy. As the ushers come forward, thank you. Jenny and Dennis Mills, practitioners extraordinaire. So when we have an opportunity to give from the heart, this is financial energy. This is God in the form of energy that we bring in to run the business of church with. And any funds that come in are held in great stewardship by the board of directors here at Seaside Center for Spiritual Living. And they do great works in the world. They do good works in this spiritual community. They do works in the surrounding community. And indeed, they go out into global enterprises and national also. So thank you on behalf of the staff at Seaside for any gift you happen to share with us, knowing that these gifts coming from love, from the heart, become multiplied, and they just run over and they come back to us. It's true, we cannot be open to receive until we've made room in our giving. Can we have the prosperity affirmation, please? And perhaps you'll join me in saying this. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is.
Another song for you.
Could we have another song?
Yeah. This song is about how these teachings, once you learn that you're creating your life, there's no going back. It's kind of scary. My eyes are wide and open.
Probably 30.
My eyes can see.
Not a lot, but it could
And
be.
my mind is full of knowing. My mind believes I am awake. I am awake. I am awake. I am awake. And once you know where your freedom lies, you can't go back and close your eyes. The truth that cannot be denied. You are the light, you are the light, you are the light. You are the light, you are the light, you are the light. My heart is clear and growing. My heart can see. And my soul is full of knowing. My soul believes I am awake. You can join me singing. I am awake. Here we go. I am awake. I am awake. And once you know where your freedom lies, you can't go back and close your eyes. The truth that cannot be denied. You are the light. 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 Once you know where your freedom lies, you can't go back and close your eyes. The truth that cannot be denied. You are the light. You are the light. You are the light. Woo! You are the light. You are the light. You are the light. All right, I'm gonna get you to do a part. You go. You are the light. You are the light. You are the light. Can you do it? Let me hear you. You are the light. You are the light. You are the light. Turn to someone and remind them. You are the light. You are the light. You are the light. Pick somebody else. You are the light. You are the light. You are the light. Picture your little inner child in your mind. You are the light. You are the light. You are the light. All right, I might ask you to get crazy here. We're going to have you sing and clap. Clap. Here we go. You are the light. You are the light. You are the light. You got it. You are the light. You are the light. You are the light. Yeah, you are the light. You are the light. You are the light. Yeah, you got it. You are the light. 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 Last time, just voices, no clap. You are the light. You are the light. You are the light. Perfect. Good job.
Wow. Wow.
Thanks, you guys. Such a pleasure to be here. Thanks.
You make my bell ring.
Yay.
All right, so this is when we have the circle of love prayer. So If you have somebody that you wish to bring specifically by name out loud into this circle of love, just raise your hand and I'll call on you and we'll find out who that is. Bob, Ellis, Nicole and Gigi, Reverend Lori, Josh, Austin, Michelle and Noel,
Georgia.
Wait your turn.
Georgia.
Melissa. All right, do we have them all? So all of those names that have been spoken, those who have not been spoken, but thought of, and really even those who have not been spoken nor thought of. Everybody who needs love right here, right now. Let's just take them into this circle, knowing that God, love, is not a circle, but is a boundless, boundaryless beingness of life and love. We call it a circle because we think sometimes in geometric shapes. And within that circle of love, let's just know that all of these names and all the rest are included. The circle of love is complete within me. The circle of love is complete within you. It is complete within this center, this service, and this world. It ties all together binds them together with cords of everlasting unity. We can neither depart from its presence nor can we wander from its care. Where God is, love is. Where we are, God is, because all things live and move and have their beings in God. These names, spoken and unspoken, we call forth the healing for. The healing that in this teaching is only the revealing of the truth of who each of these individuals are. Knowing that we are all whole, perfect, complete expressions of God. That in our divinity, that centerness of our being, that spiritual DNA that makes us up, there's no room for untowardness. There's no room for unhealthiness. It is pure, complete, total, 100% God, and it is health. And that is the essence of who we are. That is the core of who we are, and that will never change. We go on eternally and infinitely, sometimes leaving behind the current vessels we use, but still the I that thinks within me and the I that thinks within you is forever immersed in that love of God, is forever totally and completely bound up in it, is part and parcel of it. Knowing this is the case, I know true perfection for all beings everywhere. Knowing this is the case also, it's just with grateful heart that I accept this. It's with grateful heart that I accept that it is and accept the knowledge of it. And as I do, I just release with thanksgiving this word into the law, knowing that all is well, all is love, all is truth. And together we say, and so it is.
So it is.
Can we have, I'm just going to invite you to all just stand up, if you will. Grab the hand of God on your left, grab the hand of God on your right, and across the aisles, we make this unity, this oneness, this non-separation of who we are, a thing of reality in this space, in this moment. And let's just read together, may all beings be well and happy. May all beings be free from strife. May all beings return to love. Peace be with you forevermore. Thank you. And just before the closing song, I've got some thank yous, of course. Melanie Bennett, Jeffrey. Do I see Tim? Is Tim back here? Yes. Trudy Seifke.
Greg.
Oh, I'm sorry, Gregory. My bad. Trudy Seifke, one of our practitioners. Rebecca Van Contraman. Oh, Amy. Thank you for that glorious music. Remember, you can take her home with you. And we're going to sing our closing song. It's a new one Amy has brought us. She's going to guide us through this. And then afterwards, we're going to meet in the social hall for tea and cookies. Don't you know?
This is We Let the Love Wash Over Us by Ricky Byers Beckwith. You might know it. It's We Let the Love Wash Over Us. You'll learn it after I do it once. It goes like this. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let it be. We let the joy wash over us. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be. We let it be. We let the peace. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be. We let it be. One more time, love. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let it be. Have an awesome week.
Oh, thank you. And just know that somebody today needs a reminder that they are a child of God. Be that reminder. Thank you. Join us for fun, crumpets, and tea. And if you wish prayer, here we are.